Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, we review, we make fun of, we laugh at stuff over here. We are sponsored by www.mcclures.store. That's my website. We sell quality American products. We're trying to help the country and people that actually make stuff here. Go see if we have anything that you need. We got all kinds of stuff. Girls, boys, pets, all kinds of stuff. Go check it out. I'm sure we got something that you could utilize, something that you need. Maybe you need a collector's item. Maybe you need a new holster. Maybe you don't. But you want to support me, so you're going to go there and buy something anyways. That is appreciated. We are checking out a video today, another Forbes breaking news segment. Forbes does a good job of cutting up the politics of the day into these short videos that are easy to react to. So, yay, big media? I don't know. That seems kind of weird to say, but it is what it is. We're going to get into this one. You have not fully explained. Clarence Thomas questions Biden's Biden's lawyer on student loan forgiveness. As you guys know, Biden is just trying to magically wipe out the debt of people with the stroke of his presidential pen. He somehow thinks this is legal. Let's get into it. I'm curious to see what the argument actually is.
Thank you. Justice Thomas, anything further?
Just briefly, there's some discussion in the briefs that going past with this provision or that modification or waiver, that this is in effect a cancellation of a debt. That's really what we're talking about. And that as a cancellation of $400 billion in debt, in effect, this is a grant of $400 billion. And it runs headlong into Congress's appropriations authority. And I'd like to give you.
Okay, that's an interesting take. So he's saying basically if you're forgiving debt, okay, that's an interesting take on it. Interesting.
You some time to respond to that.
Sure. And so first, I want to take on the argument that some amici have made in this case about implicating appropriations authority. Of course, implementing this program doesn't require that any money be drawn from the Treasury. And so I don't think that it strictly raises an appropriations issue, which is why I think the states aren't raising that argument here. And to the extent that the concern is about the Secretary taking.
So it's not in the wheelhouse of appropriations because they don't have to withdraw money from the Fed. Okay.
Action in a way that Congress didn't authorize. It seems to me that it just collapses back into the central interpretive question in this case, which is, does the HEROES Act authorize the Secretary's action or not? With respect to the concern you raised that the effect of loan forgiveness here will result.
All right, so did I just hear her say they're using some kind of loophole that they squeaked in this HEROES Act that was passed? And some bottom paragraph of section 17-B paragraph 3 somehow gave them the legal authority to forgive student debt? That's what we're going with?
In cancellation of a measure of debt for the affected borrowers. Of course that's true, but I don't think that that is materially different from the kind of effects you can see from other types of authority that's long been exercised under the HEROES Act. You know, take the forbearance policy that I've mentioned. This has been powerful relief for for student loan borrowers while it's been in place with respect to their debt. And it's had, kind of permanent financial effects on the government, over $150 billion over the course of that forbearance program by the end of it. But it's been absolutely critical relief, and it's provided that kind of help to the student loan borrowers as well, who haven't had to make those interest payments or any payments on their loans while it's been in place. And that too can have the kind of consequence of resulting in cancellation of principal during the period of forbearance. The years that borrowers spent in forbearance count towards loan forgiveness programs, for example. So at the end of the day, those borrowers in income-driven repayment or public service loan forgiveness are going to pay less on their loan overall. It will be forgiven 3 years earlier or without those 3 years of payments that they weren't obligated to make. But I don't think that in any sense calls into question the legitimacy and authorization behind the forbearance policy.
Well,
All right, so did I hear that correctly? Not only have they been allowing people to not pay their bills just for no random reason. I didn't get to stop paying my mortgage payment or my credit card payments or daughter's car payment. I didn't get to stop any of that shit. But apparently, if you went to school to get a useless degree so you can not utilize it, you don't have to pay your bills. And because you didn't have to pay your bills, we're now going to forgive your loan 3 years earlier because we didn't have you pay your bills for 3 years? What is going on here? This is freaking crazy, dude.
I think that forbearance fits more comfortably in waiver or modified language. It's you simply forbearing on collecting an underlying debt, but you don't cancel the debt, and that's what we're talking about here. And certainly there's a cost to that, I understand. But I still think that you haven't fully explained why, if you looked at this, you would not argue that the Secretary could actually grant $400 billion. So we agree on that.
I'm sorry, outside the context of the HEROES Act?
Yes.
That's right. We, of course, are premising the relief here specifically on the HEROES Act. So you would rely on
appropriations from Congress for that, right?
Yes.
And the argument is that you are, in effect, doing that without appropriations from Congress.
Well, Justice Thomas, I don't see how you could distinguish that from any of the other forms of relief under the HEROES Act.
Well, because clearly he just laid it out. You're saying the one guy doesn't have permission to credit release $400 billion. You have to go through appropriations to forgive the $400 billion, but you're going through appropriation without going through appropriation? Like, that doesn't make sense.
All of those forms of relief cost the federal government money, and often in significant sums. You know, one of the quintessential forms of relief that the government has offered before in periods of extended deferment for soldiers fighting abroad is to pay the interest on their loans for them. And I think you could probably make the same argument of questioning, well, does that cost the government money? Is there an appropriations overlay there? Does that transform the nature of the program because it takes a loan with interest and makes it effectively an interest-free loan? But that's exactly what Congress intended under this authority. It's to make those changes to the program in direct response to and in direct proportion to the situation the Secretary confronts that will otherwise leave that borrower worse off.
Well, she's definitely...
What's going on, controversy?
She's definitely a good lawyer. But I still don't get the argument. I don't get the argument. We passed a bill to allow unelected bureaucrats to change laws? Why did we pass that bill? Oh, that's right, because the bills are so long and put out so last minute that nobody really gets to read what's in it. So any changes to the government you want to make, it's pretty easy. You just slide it in page 6012 of the 10,000 page bill. Paragraph 2, section D says that everybody must give me $1. So if you guys are going against this statute, I suggest you hit my Cash App immediately before the IRS comes after you. All right, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. We are live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 3:30 to 5:30 on Rumble and Twitch. Rumble.com/McClures. And on Twitch, we are McClures Live. Come hang out, get your request on, all that good stuff. I'm going to get out of here. I hope everybody has a great weekend. All that. Spend some time with your family. Spend time with your kids. Or make some kids. Amik, that's you, bro. You're in that category. You don't have any kids yet. Wife up that old lady and knock her up, bro. What are you waiting for? All right, guys. Have a good weekend, bro. Take care.